Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all, to the program. We've got a lot to cover, a lot to talk about. Have any of you seen this incredible reporting that Nick Shirley has done out of Minnesota? This will blow your mind away. I'm going to play a few clips from it, but I want to talk about Nick Shirley for a moment or two first. When the Never Trumpers took Charlie Kirk this year, we have lost not just an important person in our movement, but we've lost a groundbreaking, charismatic, fearless leader for the youth. The youth vote was so important. That was brought to the MAGA movement, to the Republican Party by Charlie Kirk, right? He made being Republican cool. And it's amazing what he did. And when they assassinated him, things have been falling apart, right? We've talked about this a lot. So who's going to be the replacement for Charlie Kirk? And I'm telling you, you're looking at him right here on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, and that is Nick Shirley. He is absolutely amazing. He's young, so he's in with the youth. He's charismatic. He is a fearless reporter, and I've seen other reports that he's done. They're all spectacular. This really documentary he did on the fraud going on in the Somali community in Minnesota is the most amazing investigative piece of journalism I've seen since Project Veritas and the Acorn scandal. And that was how many years ago? Obama was president. So, this is amazing stuff. And if we've been wondering who is going to be the new voice of the youth in the MAGA movement after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Nick Shirley is right there at the top of the list in my book. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm still very much under the weather with a very bad cold, guys, so you got to bear with me. And the Brian Craig Show podcast is available on all podcast platforms. Wherever you get your podcast, just search the Brian Craig Show, and I'll pop up. If you want to catch the show live in video form, where you can call in live when I take the live calls, that's on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search for The Brian Craig Show. So I want to play a few clips of what Nick Shirley did. Nick Shirley, I just haven't seen anything as amazing as this, really. Not since O'Keefe and Acorn. You guys remember? I remember when James O'Keefe and Acorn dropped, right? The whole country changed. This is what Nick Shirley did here. We've been hearing for a couple weeks now about this insane amount of fraud coming out of Minnesota. And Nick Shirley teamed up with a gentleman who has been for years following this fraud. It's not new to him. It's 2 weeks old for you and me. But what's been going on in Minnesota has been going on for many years, and he's been following it. And what Nick Shirley did with this guy, this guy has contacts in the state capital of Minnesota, and he has a list with how much money of all of these organizations that are getting the billions of dollars from the government. These Somali businesses, child care facilities, autism facilities. And he and Nick Shirley, with professional security, and when I'm talking about the kind of security you would hire if you were going to Mogadishu during the war. He had professional security with him, and Nick Shirley was risking his life with this incredible amount of amazing investigative reporting. Nick Shirley should be on every television network in America right now with what he has exposed. And he's not going to be for a couple of reasons. Most of the media are liberal fake news, right? So they don't want this truth of what's going on in the Somali community in Minnesota to be out there. And what happens is he goes to these child care centers and there's no children. You'll see as I'm going to play a few of the clips, and you can watch the whole documentary he did. It's about 45 minutes long, and on YouTube, on Nick Shirley's YouTube channel, and you can see the whole thing. It'd blow your mind. So the other reason you're not going to see this, the media that aren't liberal fake news, they're embarrassed by what he's doing. To them, they feel embarrassed. So they think, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, did it make a noise? So they're angry that he's doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? If you go to Fox News, what's Fox News doing? Just basically reading down the list of the top stories on the Daily Mail, and they just talk about them, right? So they're embarrassed by Nick Shirley's investigative reporting, so they figure that their audience won't know about it. Well, they're wrong. Millions of people are going to see this, and I promise you, if the president has not seen this yet, he will. He's very busy. Zelensky's coming to Mar-a-Lago. It's being reported this weekend. So there's a lot going on right now. He's trying to end the war in Russia, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's familiar with this already. So again, my name is Brian. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. This first clip is just Nick Shirley's introduction. So listen to this.
Here in Minnesota, massive fraud is taking place within the government and the Somali population. Here, this building alone, Quality Learning Center, is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong, and they said leering. This daycare alone in 2025 has received $1.9 million from the government. And the strange things about these childcare centers is there's no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday, and if you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed and the windows are all blacked out. No one's working, midday. Children should be in here, and this place is licensed for 99 children, and this is the outside. There's no windows, no nothing, and like I said, they literally spelt the word wrong on their sign. This is open and blatant fraud taking place here inside of Minnesota. The government is complicit with this, and this is just one of the hundreds of child daycare centers here inside of Minneapolis being ran by the Somali population. It's sad that it's happening here in Minnesota, and it stinks that it's happening and it's being labeled on the Somali population. However, that's just the facts of what's happening here inside of Minnesota. $1.9 million for this daycare center that can't even spell learning right.
Yeah, and there's no children, right? And it's 100% fraud. They go to daycare center after daycare center in this documentary, and there are no children, but they're getting millions of dollars. They go to office buildings where there's supposedly healthcare companies, multiple companies in one building. They're not doing any business. The Minnesota is one big organized Somali criminal organization. That's it. And I got to tell you, we knew it was bad. I didn't realize how bad it was. There are more, it seems to me there's more fraudulent businesses in Minnesota than there are legit. They have more fraudulent fake daycares without children than Seattle has Starbucks locations. They have more fraudulent child care centers with no children than there are McDonald's franchises in a city. It's insane. And what I believe should happen, I believe the President of the United States, Donald Trump, needs to go and federalize the entire state of Minnesota. Minnesota is not a functioning government. It is an outlaw state. No doubt about it. It is an outlaw state run by gangsters and outlaws who are, the entire state is one big RICO organized crime organization. And the Democrats have the Somalis in this location. They pump all this money with their fraud. I'm sure the Democrats get their kickbacks, but what they're really asking for is just for their vote on Election Day. So here they are. Now this older gentleman that he's with, He has been following this for years. He has a source at the state capitol that gives him the documents that, because these are public records, of the organizations that these fraudulent businesses that are getting paid millions of dollars. In fact, during this entire documentary, Nick Shirley personally, the businesses he visits in the documentary total over $100 million in fraud alone.
Children here in your child care?
Which child care, ma'am? Is a lot of
Minnesota Child Care right here. It's from the state of Minnesota's website.
See, no children.
We're just wondering where the children are.
Where the children are?
Yeah, where are the children? It says you have 102 children here,
Okay.
and you got $2.66 million this year in funding, and $2.5 million last year. We're just wondering where the kids are.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
And where are you? Which department?
Oh, we are from ourselves.
Yeah.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going.
No kids.
Look at that. Shut us down. Where are the children at? No children inside of this daycare center. And look
that.
at this daycare center right here. No children inside of this daycare center. But between those buildings, over $2.6 million. We're
Children here.
Isn't that? I mean, it's insane. They're not even hiding it. This is the biggest financial scandal in the history of this country. It's bigger than any Ponzi that's ever been busted. There has never been a financial scandal at this level. And of course, Tim Walz is at the head of it. And what my guess would be at this point, Tim Walz was picked by Kamala Harris's team in the Democrat Party to be vice president because of what they consider to be his good work in Minnesota with the fraud that's going on. He was going to take it to the White House as vice president. That's why they picked him. They didn't pick him because they thought he was a guy that the average white guy in America who was middle class would support. It was as a reward for all of the great corruption that he's done in the state of Minnesota. That's why they picked him. What plans they had for him in D.C. exactly, I don't know, but we know it was some type of fraud because that seems to be what he's overseeing. That's why this year is the year that Mike Lindell could win governor of Minnesota with this going on. And, when James O'Keefe, all those years ago, it was like, what was it? It was 2009, wasn't it? Because James O'Keefe's expose on Acorn stopped Acorn from getting the census, and the census was in 2010. So it was in 2009, Obama's first year. When he did that, James O'Keefe, he was in the costume he wore when he went undercover. He was doing national television interviews immediately when that broke. Nick Shirley, has he been on any national television? Have they even carried this yet? It is this is the day after Christmas. If you're listening live, this is a holiday week. The media are starved for news stories. Zelensky's coming to Mar-a-Lago, but he ain't there yet. Nick Shirley should be on everything exposing this. Here, and these child care facilities, none of them, not one of them, had children, but they're getting millions of dollars.
I knocked on the door, and to my surprise, somebody actually answered the door.
Hello? Can we speak? I would like to check a child in the daycare.
Why?
Can I speak
Why?
to a manager? Where can I get paperwork to file for my son? I wanted to put my son Joey in daycare.
And after a few questions, the lady went silent.
Looks like little Joey Shirley ain't going to daycare here. And now where are we going?
Now we're going to Sweet Angel Child Care.
We're in the middle of a strip mall here inside of this neighborhood.
In fiscal year
See, behind him you can see, if you look, it's one of the professional bodyguards.
In fiscal year 2025, this facility, which has its license for 74 kids, was paid $1.26 million in tax money. And there are no kids, and all the facilities are the same way, all of them.
Let's see if anyone opens.
Yeah, let's see.
Let me tell you, these guys are risking their lives, especially the guy that lives in Minnesota. He could find himself without a head with these very tribal lunatic fraudsters out there. This is This is some big money, and these are very dangerous people.
Once again, I tried to find a spot for my son Joey, and they would not open the door. I want to put my son Joey in daycare. Cuz I need a spot to put my son Joey.
Yes.
Is this your daycare center?
No, I work there. What's happened?
I just want to put a child in daycare, but all the daycare centers seem to be closed. No one's opening the doors.
You work here?
I was, yeah. What's happened?
Where are the kids?
Yeah?
It says it's licensed
Where are
for
the kids?
74 children. Right here, state of Minnesota. Where are the kids? They
Yeah.
got paid $1.26 million in fiscal year 2025.
Look at this
It
guy.
says that
This guy pretending to be surprised. He's probably the owner.
to have a capacity for 74 children.
When? No, when?
Where are the kids? Right here. State of Minnesota website. You work here and you don't know?
I don't know. I was there before. I don't know what's going on.
Were there any kids when you worked here?
He's there. Kids there. What's
How
happened?
many?
I don't know. I
You don't know.
Yeah.
You worked here. Okay, well then you're not of any help.
Can I put my son in a daycare here?
No, I don't know.
Can I speak to someone?
No, I don't know.
No? Yeah, I would like to see if I can put my son Joey here.
Who's your son, Joey?
My son Joey. Can I check out daycare center?
I'm not my son. No! You're a liar. I'm the owner.
Do you
Oh, she's the owner. Oh, okay. She's the fraudster, I guess is what she's saying. This is crazy, you know? And I got to tell you, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll get to the calls in a bit. In a way, I'm not so angry at the Somalis, right? Can you blame them? They're from a country that President Trump said it's not even a country. It's just a place where people walk around killing each other. And they come over here. I blame the Democrats. The Democrats of Minnesota is who I blame. That's who I'm angry at, because they're the ones that set up these operations. Do you think these people that are coming here from a country that doesn't have a functioning government or society are able to put together these massive financial frauds, totaling $9 billion by the latest reporting? No, the Democrats set them up in this. That's who I'm really angry at. I don't know. You guys agree with that? You don't? I don't know. So here's Nick Shirley. It's just amazing. And this is the gentleman that he works with. They talk a little bit about what they've uncovered here.
How deep is this fraud here inside of Minnesota?
It is far worse than anybody can imagine. You heard it's 7 to 10 billion and maybe more, and now the numbers have been revised and put out there publicly that they think it's more like 8 billion. How I got involved is that where my office is here in Minneapolis, I'm sort of in the heart of all of this fraud, and I would see these child care centers. I said, well, there aren't any kids there. It's the middle of the day, and all I see are a couple of guys standing out front smoking. And then I'd go by another daycare, and I'd see the same thing. I said, well, where do these kids play? And so I started to go online and look, and I said, this place is licensed for 80 children. They had 0 children. Every time I went by there, they never had a single child there. Then I started to see all these transportation companies going around, and it was always a Somali driver. And I said, well, that's great. They're out there transportation, contributing, but they never had a passenger. Never, ever once.
See, so it's not just daycares. It's all kinds of businesses. This transportation company, in the documentary, they go to healthcare. They go to an office building that has, I don't know, a dozen healthcare companies in it that aren't doing any business. They're all front fake organizations. They don't even pretend that they're doing business other than having a physical location.
And I said, well, what is all this transportation? What are they doing?
Which by the way, shows how fearless they are, right? Like in the old days of the mafia is still around, obviously, but in the old days of organized crime with the mafia, you know, they would do money laundering through businesses, but if you went there, the businesses would look like they were doing business. It was a restaurant, they were serving food, right? They do whatever they did, but they would launder money through it. They're so fearless in Minnesota, they don't even pretend that these are functioning, active businesses.
So then I found out that in Minnesota, they have something called non-emergency medical transportation. So this is going to the dentist's office, therapy, whatever it might be. And I said, well, how many of these companies are there? And the research came back that there are 1,020 of them.
Oh my goodness.
And more than 800 of them are Somali owned.
And that's just the transportation companies.
Nobody from the state of Minnesota ever crossed checks to see if any rides were ever actually provided. All they did was write the check.
So right here we have all this paperwork.
Insanity.
And how are you getting all this information about the fraud?
A lot of it is through my own research, and then I have some contacts at the Capitol going back many, many years, and so the data that I'm getting is 100% accurate, coming directly from research done by people at the state Capitol.
All this paperwork right here, what are we looking at?
The areas of fraud that I have numbers for are mostly related to childcare.
Yeah. Now, you know, but both of Nick Shirley and this gentleman should be on every newscast. Could you imagine if MAGA people were committing some kind of fraud around the country like this, Republicans? Could you imagine? Yeah. Can Kash Patel go knock some doors down? I know he got all involved with that sports racket, okay, but don't you think he should check this out?
This is...
I mean, he really, Kash Patel should have this gentleman and Nick Shirley on a plane in his office detailing what this man knows and go knock some doors down and arrest people.
Massive fraud that is beyond anyone's imagination, the scope. And so, for example, there's a child care not far from here in Minneapolis that has two child cares listed at the same address. And together, they're licensed supposedly for 120 children. I have never seen a single child there ever, and I've been by that place at least 100 times.
Oh my goodness.
These Somalians, these groups are setting up these daycares, these child care centers, getting money from the government, but there's no kids.
No kids. Never had any of them. They're all fraught with violations, and even though they have these violations, they're still in operation and they're still getting money. And it's millions of dollars for every one of them every year.
And who's getting the money? And where are they getting the money from?
So we have a thing called CCAP. It's a blend of federal and state money. The bottom line is it's taxpayer money, so it's state money and it's federal money. And the problem is the people at the state of Minnesota are the ones writing the checks. This is kind of the maddening thing is you have daycare, so you have adult daycare, and then you have child care, and then you have health care. And a lot of these same names keep coming up on all of these different types of businesses. And then, of course, we have the transportation, and a lot of those same names appear, a lot of the same addresses. There's one building that has 14 Somali healthcare companies at the same address. There's another building in St. Paul that has 22 Somali healthcare businesses at the same address.
And this is all Medicaid fraud. So this is federal government.
And the government knows about this.
The government knows they're writing the checks.
It's a state government.
Democrats over there writing the checks.
Tim Waltz.
What has happened is that the Somali community is a very closed community. They will not speak to anyone outside the community and talk about what's going on within the community. They vote as a block. And so when you're a politician, you're saying, look, I've got 100,000 people in Minnesota that if I do something for the community, they're going to vote for me. And that's what it's all about, is getting the votes. And then the people here in Minnesota, you hear this term, Minnesota nice. I'm so sick of that term. The people here are so afraid of being called a racist or an Islamophobe. And they're afraid of their own shadow.
Yeah, because they're liberals. You call a liberal a racist or an Islamophobe, and they shrivel up in a fetal position and beg for your, for their forgiveness. I got a couple more clips I want to play, but I'm going to take a quick break first. If you're on hold, stand by. If you're watching live, I would very much like to hear your thoughts on this. The number to call in is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are located. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and be right back. Are you struggling with unanswered prayers, facing doubt in your faith journey, wondering if God is really listening? There's a transformative truth waiting for you. The groundbreaking new book reveals how God's answers to your prayers, according to His will, is always yes. Not sometimes, not maybe, always. God said yes. He never rejects, only directs and redirects. From author Gaten Glover Sr. This isn't just theology, this is life-changing. Discover how this perspective can transform your job search with confidence that God's affirmative answer is already unfolding. Strengthen your faith during health crises and personal challenges. Guide your parenting through disappointments with renewed wisdom. Navigate ethical decisions at work with spiritual clarity. Revitalize your Monday mornings and reconnect with your purpose. Whether you're a new believer grappling with faith, a longtime Christian facing spiritual burnout, someone in a season of doubt, a parent, professional, or seeker, you need this fresh lens on God's will. Through biblical narratives, personal stories, and theological insights, explore how God communicates with you, always aiming towards your ultimate good and growth. Find peace, discover purpose, experience God's yes. Available now. God said yes. He never rejects, only directs and redirects. From author Gaten Glover Sr. There's also a study guide that comes with the book that you can download. A transformative guide for your spiritual journey. On the line, we have Bruce. Bruce is a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. He heard me talking with Joe Thomas about annuities and what a great deal they are, and he went in with his wife, and now he's a client. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas.
A fine gentleman. We sat down with Joe, and we explained everything to him, and we brought all our information, and he worked everything out great.
The cool thing about annuities is your money's never at risk. You're guaranteed a revenue stream for the rest of your life, but there's a bonus, really a signing bonus, where you can make a boatload of money before you even leave Joe Thomas's office. Can you talk a little bit about that, Bruce?
Well, that's where I was surprised when we sat down. We talked about the bonuses, and to my amazement, it was 10%, and there was even another one that's bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. So you made 10% on your money before you even got back in your car.
Yeah, it was more than that, but it was great.
Listen, guys, do what Bruce did. Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. You can set up a free consultation either on the phone or in the office, and Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online at jupiterjoe.com. All right, Bruce, thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Brian.
We're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Hank from Hollywood. How you doing?
All right, Hank, what's on your mind?
I called Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. He sent out Scott. Now, Scott is absolutely the best. Scott and Scott's crew are the absolute best. They gave me a great price. They did the job when they said they were going to do it. They finished the job when they said they were going to do it. The materials they used, absolutely the best. I want to thank Tom. I definitely want to thank Scott, and definitely want to thank Scott's crew. These people are number one, and I just want your listeners to know, Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. If you need a new roof, call Tom at Tom Laporta Roofing. You're not going to go wrong. You're not going to be disappointed.
Do what Hank did. Call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing on his cell phone, 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, and online, laportaroofing.com. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms and YouTube. If you're just joining, what happened here is the great Nick Shirley did this incredible investigative report in Minnesota, really showing us the fraud that we've been hearing about in the news the last couple of weeks. It's amazing. He goes to child care agency after child care agency. There's no children. There's transportation companies that aren't transporting people. Some of them are even lots full of vehicles that never leave the lot. They have it's like, you know what it's like? It's like North Korea, right? You see these videos in North Korea, and they show all these businesses and restaurants, but there's really no restaurant or cooking going on. There's a store on the outside. You go in, there's no products. You know what I mean? And they have these. It's like a movie set. They just have the fake outer shell, and that's what's going on. And Nick Shirley did an entire documentary that's 45 minutes long or so. You need to check it out on his YouTube channel. I'm just playing a couple of clips from it. It just blew me away.
Down information to give us a rate.
Now here he is at a health care agency. Oh no, this is no. This is still a child care facility without children.
Down information to give us a rate. However, when we left, we were then met with the police.
We received a complaint that gentleman matching your description were in this building harassing the individual.
Yeah, white guys.
Stay here.
Oh, we're checking out the...
I mean, look at this cop. I mean, this cop, this liberal cop, this guy spends more time on his hair than any police officer I've ever seen. Look at this guy. You ever see a cop that has hair like that? I mean, what is this? Larry Wilcox and Chips? I mean, he's not a movie star.
Stay here.
Oh, we're checking out the rates for healthcare. Because there's 14 healthcare companies inside this building, so.
Okay.
Well, that's not what he said. He said there's 14 companies here, and he's trying to assume because they're Somali providers, everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay.
So
He's here with some
Here's
kind
the
of
liberal
propaganda.
lady.
No, we're just checking.
No, this is a area that we're allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance. Is there any other reason that you guys are here?
Well, we were checking rates.
No, he's not.
We were checking rates. We asked for rates.
No, you're not.
Okay. I'm gonna have, if you guys are all good, we're gonna step outside and we can continue this conversation.
All right, let's leave. So, all right, we're getting escorted out right now. The police have arrived. We were checking out the rates, seeing what was happening inside this building. No one would really speak with us. We did go inside the one daycare center, and she actually did give us rates for childcare. Much respect to that lady. What's the problem, officer?
Well, so again,
Boy, this guy between his hair and his beard grooming, and what's with all this gear that he's got on his vest?
we've been getting reports
What is that? Is that hair gel and mousse? What's he got going on there?
from
By the way, guys, if you're watching on my live stream with the green wall, you have to go to my main live stream here on YouTube, and which is on the channel, of course, live right now, and you can see and hear all the audio and video I'm sharing.
multiple individuals that you guys were harassing individuals who work here. At the end of the day, this is private property, and it's one that people are allowed to ask you to leave, and it's also one the Minneapolis Police Department is allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance at this address.
Yeah.
So
As we got escorted out of this building, the Somalis filmed us as we left, and we headed over to the next building that had 22 of the same home health care providers operating from inside.
Yeah, so 22 in the other building, they go there, and the healthcare provider's not providing any health care. I mean, this is nuts. Then let me pull up, let's see here. What was that last clip I wanted to share? Hold on, there was one more clip I wanted to share. Okay, yes, okay. This is in front of one of the childless child care centers. Where they misspelled learning. It's a learning center, but they get millions of dollars every year to care for children that don't exist. And he talks to a couple locals. One's a guy who's never seen kids here. The other one, he has a Karen who comes after him. Watch this.
This fraud is here at this daycare.
Don't open up!
So this is Quality Learning Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open
They
up!
said they spelt learning wrong.
Don't open up!
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
So, I mean, look at that. The white liberal women, right? That's what Malcolm X said. But white liberal women, you got to watch out.
Don't open up! We have ice!
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up!
and getting $4 million over
Don't
the
open up! It's ice!
$4 million in the last 2 years?
Go away!
What do you think about that? Are you in
Go
favor?
away!
Are you in favor of that?
Go away!
You know
You're
what
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you.
Are you in favor of $1.9
Shame
million
on you.
going
It's ice.
illegally,
Don't open up.
fraudulently to this business
ice.
that has
So she thinks it's filled with illegals. It's ice.
Quality Learning Center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up.
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are. You don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up. It's ice.
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children in here at this building, but there's no one here. This is a child daycare
Minnesota
center.
says 99 children. Paid $1.9 million this year in CCAP funding. Do you know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? They run away? Where are the children? This is state of Minnesota. Right here.
And who are
She doesn't
you?
care.
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
And who are you with?
Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Yeah, so who are you with here?
Oh, he's just been doing some research investigating the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm with Nick Shirley.
This lady, she's calling us ICE. We're just trying to put law and order back in the streets of the United States.
Oh my goodness. Phew. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, I'm calling from California.
All right. Yes, California.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? So yeah, I just want to ask, like, why do you still support Trump?
How deep is this fraud?
Well, that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Why do you not support him? Why here goes Epstein? Watch.
Okay, because his stance on Israel.
His stance on Israel.
He's not.
So
he's not concentrating on
what's
American
his,
values.
What is his?
He's not.
What is his stance on Israel that you oppose? That Jews have a right to live.
I oppose $12 billion to a foreign country and fighting their wars.
Do you know that the money that the money we give to Israel, okay, comes with it comes with a condition, right? The foreign aid we give to Israel comes with a condition. Do you know what that condition is? It's law.
Tell me.
Well, you're opposed to the money, so you must know what the condition is.
No, tell me.
And this is federal law. The money that the United States gives to Israel in foreign aid, which is for their defense, right, must be spent in the United States.
Okay.
Okay, so what does that mean?
I don't know. I gotta double check this.
What do you want to do? What do you mean you got to double check this? Is it when you? It's a fact, okay?
But it's a fact. Wait. So you know, it's a fact still that he is given even more than that. But
it's
just,
not him.
This year,
it's not him. Excuse me. This is. Excuse me. I'm speaking. This has been going on for a long time. This has been going on for many years. A condition of the foreign aid to Israel, it must be spent here. Now, I know you're confused because the talking points don't have all that information and you don't know anything of which you're speaking. But what that means is that money is fed into all of it goes right back into the American economy.
Yeah, I have to double check that. But,
double check that. I don't have to double check it. I'm an informed person.
He's given
not giving
unconditional support for Israel.
Not unconditional support. All right. Hey, listen, I'm moving on because I'm talking about other things now.
Why? Why are you moving on?
Because that's not the topic of the program.
And also, does your hat align with the 22nd Amendment or what?
What about my hat?
Does it align with the 22nd Amendment?
My Trump 2028 hat is what you're referencing?
Yeah, Yeah.
My Trump, you support the Constitution of the United States, is what you're telling me.
I do. I support.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, this hat, this Trump 2028 hat, and as a supporter of the U.S. Constitution. Hold on a second here. This hat that says Trump 2028, and since you're a strong supporter of the U.S. Constitution, is the First Amendment. The First Amendment. This hat is supported by the First Amendment, freedom of speech and expression. All right, take care. I can wear whatever I want, California. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm
hold on one second. I'm going to answer some lines here. Yeah, all right. Go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, my bad. My name is AJ Hart. I'm calling from Hamilton, Ontario.
Oh, Canada. Okay, what's up, Canada? Do me a favor before you go on. Turn down the volume of whatever device you're listening to me on.
Okay, hang on.
Okay, go ahead. What's on your mind, Canada? No, I can still hear myself. You got to turn the volume down. Pick up the phone if you're on a speaker. Oh, my goodness.
Hang on.
Oh, my goodness. Can't they use phones in Canada? My goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Canada. Oh, my goodness. All right, moving on. I would thank you for the call, but if I did, it'd be a lie. See, you hear the left? They're coming completely unglued. Nick Shirley's entire documentary is on his YouTube channel, by the way. Guys, make sure you check it out. All right, you're on the air. Once, twice. All right. Hey, Canada's trying to call, and it's not working. What Nick Shirley did here, without question, was a life-risking story to do for him and the gentleman from Minnesota. This is the most amazing investigative reporting that I have seen since James O'Keefe and the Acorn scandal was busted back in 2009. But this was riskier than that. Because when James O'Keefe went to Acorn, they didn't know they were going to be exposed, okay? The fraud in Somalia has been, it might as well be Somalia. The fraud in the Somalian colony of Minnesota has been in the news for 2 weeks. And James O'Keefe, and I love James O'Keefe. I'm not taking anything away from James O'Keefe, but he was undercover and all of that stuff. You know, you're a white guy within a 5 square mile radius of these areas. They know you're coming, right? You know, and it's like Black Hawk Down. And this guy that's a local Minnesotan, he's been covering this for years, so a lot of people know who he is. Nick Shirley is a brave, brave, brave young man. All right, I'll take another call or two. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, dude, you're an idiot. I didn't doubt.
All right, it's one call per show, California. Call me on another day when you're not high. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Sorry about that again. AJ Hart, Hamilton, Ontario.
All right, go ahead, Canada. Let's go. Your phone still sucks, but
is it working now?
let's just try. I don't know if what I don't know if what you have to say is worthy of working out your technical problems with a telephone. But what'd you call about?
Okay, so honestly, man, where we've come from 5 years ago to today about like what's going on with Donald Trump and what's going on with the current state of like Canada and the United States, it's just amazing to me how many people are so frigged in the head that they don't understand that Donald Trump is doing right for the country, and the fact that people are trying to say that he was on the Epstein list or whatever and trying to think that he's a sexual predator is insane to me, because he's done nothing but try to help the country and try to help other people. And like, I live in Canada, right? So we get all like biased news up here. We only got a couple like independent news stations, and it's just insane to me how people from up here are oblivious to the fact that our like economy is shit. Like, our dollar is literally like the worst it could ever be compared to yours, and it's just insane to me where we are now to today. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, my mother-in-law's original. Now I got to move on because their phone. I can't talk to you with the phone. But call me another time. Not today. Call me on another show when you got your phone worked out. But I agree with the points you made. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Scott.
Yes,
and
Scott.
I'm from Portlock, Alaska.
Okay, Alaska. What's up, Scott in Alaska?
Hey, so you scroll through YouTube right now, and you got channel after channel after channel of these Democrats and liberals going on about it's all about the victims, and the only reason I'm talking about this is about the victims. So you tell me, in your opinion, why the Biden administration didn't release these Epstein files.
I'm not talking about the Epstein files. I'm not talking about the Epstein files.
Oh, okay. Well, have a good day.
All right, take care. Oh my goodness. You know what is amazing to me about that topic? Why are all these guys obsessed with a pedophile that's been dead for years? You ever wonder about that? I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, I got a lot more to talk about. I'm Brian. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. Back after this.
Episode 2 of the Later Lovers podcast is out now. Singer, songwriter, and TV host Fabian Starr gives you an exclusive album update and behind-the-scenes access to his creative journey. The Later Lovers, new episode streaming everywhere. Elevate your home with AsTreato.com, where cozy blankets, chic Christmas decor, stylish furniture, seasonal lights, and clever storage solutions come together to create spaces you'll love. Just enter ASTREDO.com and unlock a world of style and functionality. AsTreato.com brings effortless elegance and comfort into every corner of your home, making everyday living more inspiring. AsTreato.com, curated comfort for your home. Dive into the luxury of knowledge and style at Recoveries.com, where expert-led beauty, skincare, and wellness guides meet inspirational fashion, home styling, and lifestyle selections. Find insights on anti-aging, fitness, and personal growth, and explore seasonal fashion trends and elegant home decor, all crafted to help you live beautifully and confidently. Recoveries.com makes it effortless to turn guidance into stylish, practical choices. Type RECOVERES.com and enjoy a world where inspiration meets everyday sophistication. Recoveries.com, expert guidance for life's finest moments. Experience a world of style and functionality with Champion Goods, a treasure trove for those who crave both fashion and innovation. Browse standout Apple accessories, creative art and craft supplies, premium denim, and iconic fashion pieces. Discover smart home electronics, headphones, game controllers, and practical kitchen gadgets, all curated to elevate your everyday life. Don't miss seasonal collections and thoughtful gift ideas that turn every occasion into something memorable. Visit ChampionGoods.shop and explore a world where innovation and style coexist seamlessly. Champion Goods. Elevate your lifestyle.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Brian Craig Show podcast. Available on all podcast platforms. Welcome. If you're on hold, hang in there. Yeah, Nick Shirley, it's amazing. I wonder, before we had citizen journalists like we have now, did we ever really have investigative journalists in this country? I don't know. The media, the news industry are in the business of covering news up, not breaking or reporting it, huh? Did you see this thing with Rachel Maddow with the ICE? She is really a strange person. Listen to this. Well, let me just play it instead of explaining it. It explains itself. I don't watch Rachel Maddow, okay? I don't know why MSNBC, it's called MS now. It amazes me when the only times I see her, I'll see clips on X sometimes, like this one I'm going to share. But I will when it's election night. I'm flipping through all the news, right, for results and everything. And they have her on these election night panels, and everyone on MSNBC treat her like she's the wisest woman who's ever walked the earth, like she's the oracle of all knowledge and analysis. She's a dumb, insane person. I know she went to Princeton. So what? She's good at memorizing for the test. She's not a smart person. But anyway, listen to this. Rachel Maddow.
This is the time of year when a number of cities do this, but I have been particularly watching the great city of Chicago.
The great city of
because
Chicago.
This is the time of year when the city of Chicago asks its residents to please come up with new names for the city's new snowplows.
Okay, I didn't know this. So they name their snowplows in Chicago like you would name a ship.
Now, again, a number of cities do this. Chicagoans are particularly good at naming their snowplows. For example, in recent years, winning names in Chicago have included a lot of very Chicago-specific terms. So, like, as a shout out to the Sears Tower, a couple of years ago, Chicago christened a new snowplow the Sears Plower.
Some of these are pretty creative, but wait till you
the great
get the big
Ernie
kahuna
Banks
at
from the
end.
Chicago Cubs, Mr. Sunshine, right? In his honor, we get the new plow, Ernie, not Ernie Banks, but Ernie Snowbanks. Yes! The south side of Chicago is the baddest part of town. If you go down there, you better just beware of a man named Leroy Plow. Bad Leroy Plow. Yes! in honor of the great Walter Payton, running back for the Bears, one of the all-time greats. Chicago named one new snowplow Salter Payton. Salter Payton.
That one's not
Speaking
so
of
good.
Da Bears, we also got, of course, Da Plow. One of the best ones from last year was Control Salt Delete.
That's a good one.
It's all very good.
That's a good one.
It's all very good. Well, this year, guess
Listen
what
to
seems
this.
to be at least one of the leading nominees for new snowplow name this year in Chicago?
Abolish
It's
ICE.
Abolish ICE. Abolish ICE. Get it? It's a snow.
She's so excited. She's getting giddy. You hear her? She's got her ink pen and she's hitting it. She's hitting it on the desk. She's so giddy at this abolish ICE.
It's Abolish ICE. Abolish ICE. Get it? It's a snowplow.
Yeah, we get it.
It's
Yeah,
a
we
salt
get it.
truck. Get it?
Say it again. We
The
get it.
naming contest is still open in Chicago for this year, but Mayor Brandon Johnson has taken note online about Abolish ICE as a potential new snowplow name, which is very funny.
No,
and
it's
also
not.
very obviously, it's like the obvious choice for this year.
Okay. No, that's not funny. You know, it's not funny for a lot of reasons, and I just mention a couple of them. These ICE officers are federal police officers. They are federal agents who are apprehending in very dangerous situations federal fugitives from justice. And when they're coming these days, it ain't like the old days. They're going back. They may be going to that prison in El Salvador, back to their home country, and they're not going to be allowed to come back here ever again. At least they're not even going to be able to apply for 20 years. So they're going after people who have nothing to lose, which makes them dangerous. And the Democrats are egging all this violence on. And if you've noticed over the Christmas week, there have been violent incidents. ICE had to shoot someone who tried to run them over with a vehicle. We have these people that are following them around, which is against the law, following ICE agents around in their cars, these liberal people. And, this goes back to when the Democrats in the Vietnam War were encouraging soldiers to kill their officers. They called it fragging. And fragging happened. It happened during Operation Iraqi Freedom, or was it during the invasion of Afghanistan? Either Iraqi Freedom or of Afghanistan. There was a soldier who fragged several men in his unit. And what they're doing now, and Rachel Maddow and these others, what they're doing is it's fragging 2025 of ICE officers, and it's bad. And it should not be allowed. For her to do that is you hear me talk about this from time to time. It's irresponsible broadcasting. Now, if you'd like to support my channel and my content, become a Patreon supporter. If you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of all my podcast episodes, plus exclusive live stream chats that I do just with Patreon supporters on the Patreon platform. It's a no troll zone. Trolls are not allowed. And it's a live stream like I do on YouTube, but just Patreon supporters. And there's a lot of things that my wife and I post on Patreon for Patreon supporters only that we post nowhere else. And if you become a top Patreon supporter, you get a live on-air thank you shout-out on the program and your name up on the screen. If you want to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode of my program. Or you can go directly to patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. Patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. But again, there's a link in the description of the episode. The names that you're going to hear now, these are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SFjr, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, Irene, and Doris. These are my top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support. If you're new to the channel, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you are listening on. I will talk to you next time. Take care.